Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast, the only live streaming face-to-face arts and entertainment podcast covering northeastern Pennsylvania, offering a true alternative voice in local media. We're coming to you from the NEPA Scene studio underneath Center City Print in downtown Scranton. I'm Rich Howells, the founder and editor of NEPA Scene. Summer Costco's behind the scenes in the producer's chair. And tonight, we're here with Wilkes-Barre metalcore mathcore band Toothless. They recently released their debut full-length album, Past Futures. So we're talking about each track on the record and its themes of history repeating, disillusionment, self-destruction, manipulation, and the psychological weight of navigating a world buried in misinformation, refining their complex sound, recording outside the area at Silver Bullet Studios and working with Silent Pendulum Records, their first 3 EPs, and creating music together for over a decade, the local music scene, members of the band also playing in Sleep Sculptor, Travis donating his long hair to Wigs for Kids, upcoming shows at Poppy's Tavern in Hatfield, Barbed Wire Fest at Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia, and the V-Spot in Scranton, and much more. So please join our conversation with your questions and comments down below. We'll get to those later on in the show. It's much more fun when you guys participate. So please, if you have anything you want to ask these guys, anything you want to add to some of the stories we're going to tell tonight, please leave those in the comments. All right, so Summer, cue the music. NEPA Scene is brought to you by Center City Print, bringing your ideas to life in 3 locations, Scranton, Kingston, and Hazleton. These one-stop shops are locally owned and operated, providing high-quality print products at affordable prices. From business cards, brochures, and banners to posters, flyers, and tickets, let their custom design solutions and exceptional customer service make your next project a reality. Use promo code NEPA Scene in person or online at centercityprint.com for 10% off.
Me crazy on my phone.
I get it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. All right, guys. So you can, if you wouldn't mind starting by introducing yourselves and your position in the band.
Yeah, I'm Travis Antonello. I do vocals in Toothless.
And I'm James, and I do drums.
So going back to the very beginning, how did you first get into music, and what made you first pick up an instrument?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like, I was kind of raised in a musical family. My dad played bass, guitar, the piano. Like, he played sax in high school. So, I was kind of like always around my dad and my mom and my their friends playing music together. So like grew up with like campfires and like acoustic guitars and stuff. So I was kind of like stewed in that, and then that made me want to learn, acoustic guitar. And there was actually a day where my dad wasn't home, and I found his bass and I started like playing with it, and he found out and like started teaching me. So yeah, that's kind of where it started for me.
My dad played drums. He doesn't really play much anymore. It's like, he's old, back problems and stuff. But yeah, so he played, and so we had like a kid at the house and stuff, and he made me, I remember he like made me take lessons when I was very young, like 3-4 years old. And I hated it because, I was 3 and I'm like, why are you making me do this? This is awful. He had to like bribe me. He used to buy me, literally like I would get like Star Wars action figures. Like he would buy me those just to get me to go to lessons. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, here's your stormtrooper," and it worked. But yeah. But then as soon as he stopped making me go, I stopped doing it. But then I think around sometime around 6th grade is when I actually started to find music I liked on my own. Like it wasn't just what my parents were listening to and stuff. And it kind of very quickly just led me being into maybe I do want to play drums. And so then I actually asked him to start taking lessons again at that point and kind of went from there. So.
Now, were you guys into metal early on? How did you discover metal music?
I mean, my parents listened to radio metal. I would say they always had Metallica and AC/DC on and that kind of stuff. So that's the stuff I was listening to, and then kind of more mainstream stuff that was on 97.9 or whatever. And then I didn't start really listening to the more niche stuff. I'm saying Slipknot's niche, but really it's not. I didn't start listening to stuff like that until I was in I want to say 5th or 6th grade. I had a friend on the bus, shout out Zach, who showed me some of the stuff and was learning that on guitar. So my friends in high school started showing me more and more complex stuff, and it really wasn't even until I was in Toothless that I was introduced to stuff like Dillinger and Every Time I Die and that more heavier mathy stuff.
Mm-hmm. For me, my dad was really into a lot of prog. So I remember hearing, from a very little kid, I remember hearing stuff like Dream Theater and Deep Purple and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of where my brain started to, get that whole, where I kind of was almost set up to kind of more technical music already as I started getting older, because that was what I was listening to as a kid. And then, around that time when I said I started getting into music on my own, the big one was I saw a System of a Down music video in the middle of the night. I was supposed to be asleep and I was watching MTV at 2 a.m. or something, and I saw System of a Down pop up, and that was when you're 11, you hear that, you're like, oh my god, it's the coolest thing in the world. So they kind of set me off on getting into then I got into Slipknot, and then that led to kind of metalcore and death metal and all that stuff. And then I feel that kind of merged with that prog background I had as a kid, I guess, which explains why, everything I like to play now is just really stupid and fast and, and complicated. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think any music fan, metalheads can be a little snobby when it comes to Slipknot, that's very mainstream or whatever, but it's but that was the stuff that got a whole generation to discover.
For sure,
because that's what it was for me too. It was I didn't know any of the more complicated stuff, the deeper stuff, whatever you want to call it, before I heard those. That was kind of once that hit in any kind of mainstream sort of breakout sort of thing with music videos and things like that. Yep. It's a rabbit hole that leads you down there. Those bands are just as important, I think, than
there's so much music. Sometimes I kind of get overwhelmed, just thinking of the scale of how many bands are out there, how many are known that you can find, and then how much great stuff is just barely being discovered.
Right.
There's so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember being a kid and when I got into Slipknot, I remember going on the internet, because I was big on this was back before Facebook and all that was big, and I used to go on forums, just internet message board stuff, and just talk to people about music on there. And I remember people fucking hated nu metal. They were like wow. And I feel it's even wrong to call Slipknot nu metal most of the time, because aside from a couple of the tracks on the first album, I think they don't really fit that label. But but it's crazy to think but that kind of movement is the reason so many people, especially our in our age group, why we're into what we're into,
right?
Is,
Yeah, I think nu metal was such a a really terrible term because they just anything that was new coming out was just new metal.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm sorry, but I don't think Linkin Park sounds like Slipknot, which sounds like Seven Dust, which sounds Limp Bizkit, Korn.
Yeah.
You can't put all of these bands together and say they're all the same genre. Like it just doesn't make any sense, you know? Especially when there's so many little subgenres for metal now. I think maybe now people have figured it out that like you can't just put one label on all of it. But you. So what was your first band? Did you have a band before Toothless?
For me, we didn't ever like play shows out, but we got together and practiced and stuff. So I was, this is when I was living in Benton, Pennsylvania, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that friend Zach, he played guitar in something, and we started a band called Darkened Mind Syndrome. So bad.
What a first band.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have a good first band name too. We'll get to it.
Man, I think you just cut me on the edge, man.
Dude, honestly, I might be mixing that up with something else. No, it wasn't that. I'm sorry. It was Continents Collide. That's that's on the same level. Whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I found out it was like a Transformers book at some point.
Okay.
That's not why it's named that. But so we wrote maybe like, that's kind of how I started getting into recording actually, with like Windows Media Recorder or whatever, hanging a ceiling fan microphone. And it was me, Zach, and Anthony, and sometimes also another Zach. And we wrote some originals, but mostly we'd like learn like Slipknot songs, and like we learned some like Stone Sour and like Pantera and stuff, and we would jam that. And I was supposed to play guitar in that, and I showed up to our first practice at Anthony's house, and there is like a little practice amp and a microphone that Zach had plugged into it, and he was like, "Hey, like you're doing vocals." I was like, "Okay." So I like cranked up the distortion on the amp and just like screamed like Slipknot songs through it, and it was sick. But that was the first band I was ever really in. And then I don't know, I just recorded some stuff with like me and Zach, and just recorded like original stuff and put it on like my SoundCloud or something. And it wasn't until college where I joined Toothless. So that was my first band, and Toothless was, I guess, like my second.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do the band thing for, I think my first band I was like 15, like that played out, and I remember I think the first show I ever played was Club Energy in Wilkes-Barre before it got shut down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like forever ago. It was like we opened for Motionless in White before, they blew up and took over everything basically. But like,
right.
They were a local band around here, just like anyone else was at that point. But yeah, we were called Skylines in Silence, right?
Okay.
Is that...
Guys, please don't Google these.
Whatever. But yeah, we played,
Maybe some remnants floating around somewhere.
But
We're gonna go scrub the SoundCloud.
It was like that mid 2000s metalcore that was kind of popular at the time. We were doing like a lot of like, I guess like Parkway Drive, As Lay Dying kind of stuff. Yeah. And I played bass in that, and then I did vocals in that, and then since then I've been in multiple. Like I can't remember a time where I haven't been in a band since then to some degree. So there's probably like 10 or something floating around in there somewhere. But right now Toothless, Sleep Sculptor, and Scorched Mind, because I have to be busy all the time. So it's just how it is.
How did Toothless come about? This is about maybe around 2015, I believe.
So we went to college together. We went to LTRIC for music recording technology and everything. And I met. So the band started. It was me and Eric, he was our old guitarist and bassist at different times. Eric and I met in college. We kind of bonded over a lot of the similar like music tastes and stuff, so we just kind of started the band with just him and I, and then we got Travis on board pretty soon after that. We kind of tried like one or two other people out on vocals. It didn't really pan out, and then we just knew Travis from school, so kind of roped them in. And,
I had a SoundCloud resume.
Yeah. Very important. Yeah, so it was just basically through music recording tech at Ultra IC.
So you guys describe yourselves as chaotic metalcore. For those at home, if you could maybe explain what that means, or why you guys chose that term.
So I mean, metalcore is kind of I feel like it's like kind of a dirty word anymore.
Yeah,
like a
it's
lot of people
so
don't.
broad.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really know what it means anymore. Because like metalcore comes out of like music that's like from the '90s and stuff, and it definitely, when most people think the term now, they don't associate it with that. But we are very much more kind of attached to that kind of, which basically just means hardcore metal slammed together, right? And the chaotic part is just like we're not, I don't think we're quite nutty enough to be considered full-blown mathcore, which is like when metalcore is like super, like that's like Dillinger, you know, stuff like that, where it's really cracked out all the time.
Yeah.
We're a little bit more reined back than that, so we kind of were like, oh, well, it's like metalcore, but it's a little bit more chaotic.
when I think the chaotic part, I think like texturally too. Like the sounds are like, we try to get like noisy and like just, I don't know. That's kind of
I think there's like elements of like dissonance, a lot of kind of off kilter like rhythmic stuff, a lot of high tempos. Kind of just like, that's kind of what we want, is like kind of just like a frantic-ish sound a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, mathcore isn't always that. It isn't always chaotic. So I guess that makes sense. I was going to have you explain mathcore, but I think you did that well. It does not mean they write songs about algebra.
No.
For those who maybe don't know, how do you think the sound is kind of refined from those first 3 EPs to this album?
Well, I think the first, depending on kind of who had a heavy hand in writing a lot of the stuff, it definitely goes in different directions. A lot of our old stuff was predominantly written by it was like Eric and I think you probably had a hand in a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And we also had an old guitarist before Brian who contributed to writing. So a lot of that, like the very first EP has kind of a more of like, it's kind of on the hardcore side, it's a little bit more simplistic.
Yeah.
And then when we got Brian in the bands, I mean, he's a freak. So he just,
Brian's awesome.
He's like absolutely insane on guitar and just has a good head for writing really cool stuff. Him and I are both really into like really techie like stuff and a lot of like jazz and things. So that kind of starts to bleed in a bit, and we're probably going to see more and more of that as we go on forward. So definitely, less.
It's like hardcore.
Yeah.
More like I know with the newer one especially, like we started tapping into like the more like atmospheric, I don't want to say experimental, but it's like that kind of like cool textures and
messing with more kind of like peaks and valleys as opposed to kind of like the whole thing just sounding like one sound, kind of trying to purposefully give some ebb and flow by some softer stuff, some whatever contrast, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a bit more mature writing as time went on, for sure.
I would hope so.
Mature.
I know you guys like to give different answers to where the name came from.
Yeah.
At this point, I just say it's the dragon. I don't care anymore. Yeah, we've got. That literally was like every time somebody like, oh, like the dragon. I'm like, yeah, sure. You know what? Those movies rock. So whatever. It could be the dragon. It's fine. But
yeah, it was kind of already set before I was there. So
yeah, I mean, Eric and I literally just spitballed names back and forth, and we got kind of hung up on the teeth thing, but it was just a matter of finding something that wasn't like taken and kind of had a meaning that we liked. And then we just settled on this, which Sorry, DreamWorks. I don't know.
We're cool.
We
We're
could
cool with
collab.
DreamWorks. Yeah,
We should
we
collab.
need a collab with DreamWorks.
We should be in the next How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Yeah.
Well, they have live action ones.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
So you know, you
Or you
guys
could just be in the soundtrack, whatever.
Yeah.
It would fit.
That'd be so cool.
I mean, they put Slipknot in that shitty rollerball movie. Do you remember that?
Do you remember that? That's a deep cut. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's this like garbage kind of sci-fi movie from like mid 2000s or something, but Slipknot's literally in it on a stage.
Wait,
just in the
what?
back.
Actually?
Yeah, it's not even like something they draw attention to. It's like
They're just there.
Like, it's like in like a cafeteria or something. They're like talking after like they had a match. It was like this stupid sport, and Slipknot's just actually there playing music.
That's
on
so
stage.
sick.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cannibal Corpse in the first Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, oh, there they are.
Yeah, the 90s and 2000s, I think they were so intent on selling soundtracks that they were like, how do we let's put bands in the movie so that, you know, we could tie that in. And like, there's still those songs that you remember to this day that like are tied to some movie.
I always think of Daredevil because that was how
Yes.
Evanescence blew up.
Right.
Because it was like...
because of that awful Daredevil movie. Yeah, where they like forced it in every scene as if the movie wasn't like cheesy enough as it was. It was like every other scene was an Evanescence song that they were trying to sell you. It was hysterical.
That's awesome.
The whole thing was really funny.
Is kind of like an aside of that, but like Beavis and Butthead and like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's still like life goal. Like,
Oh yeah, totally.
determining success in a band, it's like I want to be on Beavis and Butthead.
It'd be awesome.
A Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack, but I mean that time's probably past at this point.
I mean,
Yeah,
Beavis and
for
Butthead probably is too, but
I don't know,
who knows?
because it kind of came back recently, didn't it?
For a little bit. That was a while ago.
People forget too. It did work the other way because like Winger, for example, fucking hated MTV and Beavis and Butthead because they felt like it because the one kid had a Winger shirt.
Yeah.
And I think they might have made fun of one of their videos or whatever. But whenever they were like really mean to a particular music video, it actually hurt the band in a lot of ways.
I feel like,
Oh, really?
There were
Today,
bands
though?
who complained about it. Like, their MTV targeted me, they ruined my career or whatever. And it's like,
I'd be okay with
Well, you know, if that happened today, that would make people way more popular.
yes,
That's just
it's,
how,
it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think in those, like, they were weirdly enough like tastemakers.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know, like, oh, this is cool and this is not. You know, like really,
Fuck.
yeah, it's so fucking weird how this shit worked in those days. So, tell us about your first EP. It was self-titled in 2016, and then you had the Red EP in 2018. So we can talk about maybe some of those earlier albums.
I mean, if you want to take the first one.
Yeah, like I said, so Eric and I, we started the band, kind of just started throwing some stuff together, and then we had our old guitarist Bob. He was in the band for just that EP. So it was kind of a different lineup, different songwriting, very much so. You could tell too, like you go back and forth, like it's pretty night and day. I don't really remember. We literally, it was like that was all self-produced. Like Eric recorded it in his parents' basement, which was where he kind of had his studio set up at the time, and it was all just very DIY.
Yeah, and
I think
and I mean, Red, that was the first time I was like, that's the EP code, right?
yes.
Red was, I confuse it because we have like a song called Red on it. Anyway, that was the first one I was really like contributing like riffs and writing and stuff too. But I also helped produce that with Eric. So I remember like kind of long days where like Eric was off doing something and I'm in the studio, like also like mixing and editing and things like that. But that was also self-produced. And I think like even between just like those first two albums, I feel like there's a drastic change in my voice.
Probably. I mean, it was like your first real foray into...
Like the first EP was my first time like really screaming in something to that extent, I think. And then I feel like I learned how to kind of do it correctly. and I say that with a grain of salt because I don't know if I'm still doing it correctly, but like I can do it for days at a time. So I think it's.
I would say then that's correct.
Yeah,
yeah. If you could still do it and not lose your voice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that I feel like Red EP got a little like kind of more like I'm trying to find the right word for that kind of like mellowed out thing we go into sometimes, or it's like that more emotive kind of.
There's like a bit of like kind of like a post rock, post metal influence on it, like a little bit. Like we kind of messed around with it, and then we wanted to kind of bring that a little bit more moving forward. So our newer stuff has
that like Norma Jean type of like melodic stuff that'll happen. It's like it's still heavy but melodic and like dark.
Yeah, and then Brian was there for Red, so he's had his hand on some of those songs pretty heavy too.
Yeah. I feel like when you listen to a song, you can know it's a Brian song.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to the guitar, you're like, yeah, this is.
Well, yeah, if you like the new album, those are all basically Brian songs to a large degree, and it's very obvious when you kind of A/B it with our old stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so we had Red, then we did a single, Comfort. Yeah.
Was that before? Yes. Yep. That was also self-produced. That was just like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Which we were like, oh, VR is cool. It's a thing.
Yeah, I was working for VR guests at the time, so I had access to 360 VR camera.
Yeah. Nice, so we did a little music video where we just shot us playing in 360.
Nice.
Which, I mean...
We did do a full take through a song, just like trying to move nonstop, and it's like, oh my God. So we did 3 takes of that.
It's one of those things where it was like kind of cool, but like also nobody cared, you know?
Ahead of its time. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah. It was like, what do you mean? I could like move my phone around? It's like
no, it's hard to explain because like some people don't know there's a difference between like just the flat 360 stuff and like VR, like actual depth.
Right.
Which I won't get into here, but it's different. But yeah, it was like a VR video with like the lyrics floating in space that you could see and try to design it in a way that makes you turn your head and everything. But yeah, so Comfort, and then we did the full length, right?
No, we did Misinformed.
Oh yeah, Misinformed. Yeah, you take this one because I'm.
Well.
Misinformed, great, perfect timing. Released it in 2020.
Yes,
right. Where all great albums went to die.
Yes, correct. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that, and did that maybe halt your plans of what you were going to do with that?
Yeah. Yeah, it sure did. I mean, I know a lot of bands went through it. Sleep Sculptor also went through COVID, kind of just wrecking the momentum a lot, but. Yeah, we recorded Misinformed. That was the first one we did with Greg at Silver Bullet. We did not self-produce that.
Yeah, and which was great. It was so nice to have somebody else like working as the producer and just being able to step back and just be the musicians and like get the third party input. Yeah. It's so nice to have that.
Yeah, we did those 3 songs and yeah, release that. We decided to go in and buy a van. Like we bought a converted Ford E150 or whatever.
Yep.
With the intention of like trying to tour a bit off of releasing that EP and everything. And then then the world shut down for a year or 2 or whatever happened there. So we didn't do any of that.
We have this video on our YouTube channel where it's like a van tour and it just opens up with like, this is the van we bought right before COVID.
Yep.
And it's just a little, like, you know, like MTV style, like, van invader or whatever.
Sleep Sculptor was supposed to do a month in, like, that April.
Oh.
And I remember everything happened in March, basically, where it was, like, everything started shutting down. We literally had a month that we were supposed to do in April, like, going up to Canada and, like, out to the West Coast and stuff. Nothing.
We got our passports and everything.
Yeah, yep. Literally got passports. Yeah, it was awesome. Never got to use them.
And that's the thing too, is like people forget that like that once all that stuff was made impossible, it took years for it to even start to bounce back and get to a point where I guess we're kind of at now, but I think it changed some things permanently.
Yeah, there's still like diners aren't open 24 hours most of the time anymore,
right?
Which is a big part of being in a band,
right?
I honestly I hate that so much. Diners close at like 6 o'clock now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Diners,
Fix it.
Yeah.
Walmart's too. If you need supplies, you're on the road. You know, you need to stop somewhere. It's like entire towns shut down by like 9, 10 o'clock now. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I will say there's some good things that happened due to like kind of like figuring out how to operate in that world and like making some things virtual. Like, thank God for virtual meetings and not having to drive everywhere for every meeting.
Right.
But yeah. Some residual effects for sure.
Yeah, more people being able to work from home, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
silver linings.
So, obviously, you weren't able to do too much with Misinformed. So, was that a moment where you're kind of reassessing what you want to do, or just kind of push you to like, all right, let's just jump to the next thing and move forward and. I guess the bigger question is you have 3 EPs at this point. What makes you decide to jump in and do the full length this time?
I think when we did the EP, I think Greg was wanting us to do a full length and kind of saying it was time. I think he was telling maybe me about that, or I don't know. I remember having that conversation with Greg, and kind of like people are asking when the full length is gonna come out after hearing this EP. So like they need the continuation of this. That's what I remember from that. Yeah, I think internally, like I
think it was just a kind of a perception of like we were doing EPs because it's like, you know, obviously when you're like young and on a budget, like you know, if you're gonna try to do this stuff, it's very expensive a lot of the time. So EPs are obviously a little bit more, you know, feasible to do. And also at that point too, we were kind of like, oh, you know, with the way that I guess modern music like marketing and stuff goes, usually you want to hit more often with smaller products because people's attention spans are
unfortunately
but at the same time, like I love albums. I listen to albums almost exclusively. And then like it's also kind of I always felt like, and you know, a lot of people still say this too, like if you want to be taken more seriously and have longevity as an artist, like you kind of have to make albums, right? So you like, I guess we kind of went into it thinking that too, like just we want to have something that's like, hey, this is like a full, like it's the full product. It's not a little taste. It's like a, you know, it's a full course.
Yeah, it's nice having something that's like that complete and like that much of an art piece. I feel like having that full like experience from like track to track, and just having that listening experience of, you know, the tracks blend together in such a way, and the album is like, you know, the tracks are placed in such a way where like we're thinking of it like, okay, here's the A side of the album, here's the B side of the album.
Yeah, a lot of that's very lost anymore because everything's like singles now. So you know, a lot of times when you hear an album, I feel like a lot of times when I hear an album anymore, it's like I've heard half the album as singles already. So then the album just feels kind of stale already the day it comes out. And it feels like not a lot of attention is paid to something like that. Where what does this sound like if I listen to it from start to finish? You know, I feel like it's like if you were to watch like. If you put on a movie that's like 2 hours long, but you're just like, I'm gonna watch this 10 minutes and then this 10 minutes and this 10 minutes, like that doesn't work. Yeah, it's very different. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm already old. Who knows?
No, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah, I'm very much an advocate for the full length as well. I think things need to, and that's how I listen to it too to this day. I guess because that's how I grew up listening to albums too, you know. And listeners not only get more out of it, but they give more stuff a chance that maybe they wouldn't have if you're releasing, you know, singles here and there. I think like if you have the album in front of you, especially if you paid for it, you know, I mean, in the streaming days now, like I guess we don't think in those terms, but like I used to we go to the Gallery of Sound with my only, you know, $20 in my pocket. I'm going to get maybe 1 or 2 albums for that. and I'm going to take it home and I'm going to listen to it over and over and over again and get my money's worth.
Yep.
Because that's all I've got to listen to now that's new for a while. You know, I didn't have access to all of this other stuff.
I feel like I've taken that mentality to streaming with me.
Yeah.
Where I'll listen to an album. James knows. I'll have like a CD in my car and just listen to it for like 3 years. And I feel like there's always so much to unpack. Like you can listen to there's so much information in like an album for you to like, you can hear something new you haven't heard before just because you're paying attention at a certain part.
Yeah, truly good albums are like that. You can listen to them infinitely, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm the opposite. I literally I listen to albums, but I constantly, like almost daily, I'm looking for new music. Like what can I listen to?
Which I'm grateful for.
Yeah,
because
then it
gets me out of listening to the same thing for 7 years.
Yeah, because a lot of times it'll happen where something new will pop up that I'm like digging around and I find something and I'm like, oh, here you go, Travis. You'll like this probably.
Yeah. It'll be like once a year where I'll be like, hey, I found this album. Or I'm listening to this thing I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer, you're the same way?
You're an album person? I'll listen to it until I hate it. But I'll never hate it.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep listening to it.
Yeah.
I do like it. I do tend to find different things. Like there's a Lady Gaga song I listened to recently. I think it was like Edge of Glory or something like that. And I realized that there's didgeridoo in it. And I was freaking out. No one was understanding.
There's didgeridoo on Red. On that EP.
Oh,
yeah. And on the song Broken Toes.
Hell yeah.
Better go look that up.
Yeah, no. Make sure you listen to, what is it, Break Your Toes?
Broken Toes. That was one of those titles where Broken Toes was the writing title. And it was like, what do we call this? I don't know.
Just keep it, whatever, yeah. Who cares? Sounds silly, so.
Yeah.
So you also recorded this new album, Past Futures, at Silver Bullet Studios in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. So a lot of, obviously, most local bands record locally. There's a lot of studios available. What made you want to go back there and do it there?
I mean, I feel like we had like such a great experience recording the EP. Recording with Greg and Chris, and yeah, I don't know. We were treating it as like that continuation of, this sound. So, same producer, same studio.
There's a lot to be said about, obviously this area has people who definitely know what they're doing and can give you a good product and everything. But in this world of music, like it's such a tight niche that the people that are like, the people who know people in it, it's a very small circle.
Okay.
So we thought, it was kind of a thing too where we're like, hey, if we should go try to get involved with people who are kind of more in that world. So, because Greg, he plays in, he's played in bands that are very much in this vein. And so we kind of thought that would be a good thing to be able to, have somebody's input who is very much familiar with this kind of world of music. And also, if we could pick their brain on like, what are things that we should be doing as a band of this style? Because it's not a commercially viable, style of music.
Yeah.
It's not something where you can really, I don't know. It's tough for a lot of people. So, but the people who like it love it. So you just got to find those people and kind of that. Going to Greg was definitely, that was part of it. Is just how do we get deeper into that world instead of kind of the broader sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So we have a segment called The Breakdown, where we go track by track on an artist's latest release to hear the inspiration and stories behind each song. So this can be about the lyrics, the composition, the recording, or all of it. Whatever you want to share that you think is maybe the most interesting aspect to talk about. So we're going to jump in. Your debut full-length album, Past Futures, was released on January 27th on all major streaming platforms. Also available physically, too. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's get into it. The first track is Gravity of Reason.
So this is one of the few. So there's a couple Toothless tracks where they actually started. It started mostly with drums. There's like a pattern that I would just kind of spit out one day, and I was like, hey, somebody play something to this. And that's the opening track was very much so. I was messing around with some kind of pattern. Literally, the album starts with me playing the drum part that we ended up kind of building the rhythm of the song off of. Obviously fleshed out a bunch of other stuff, as they came up with guitar parts and vocals and everything. But yeah, there's a couple songs like that every now and again I'll just have a rhythmic idea that will kind of turn into a song, which I always think is really neat. It feels very kind of organic when that happens. But I don't know if you have
yeah. I mean, lyrically, I feel like this one thematically is really about like escapism. When I thought of the name like Gravity of Reason and like that line, like finding my way to escape the gravity of reason, I always have like space visuals in my head, big nerd astrophysics fan, and there's a lot of that kind of going on with this. You're trying to find this way to like, and this was like during the last however many years where world events are just like insane, and you're trying to find a way to just escape from it all. So you're finding your way to escape the gravity of these situations, and by these different forms of escapism. So
I feel like too, not to get too far ahead, but the Misinformed EP too does kind of lead into, has some of the some similar themes that this one does as well, that talks about
very much. So I do kind of look at it like they're almost like they belong together to some degree. That EP
really like this is an extension.
Of
that. Yeah.
Especially too because it's kind of it helps to think. Even though the album came out this year, we recorded it not too much longer after Misinformed. I think we recorded it like maybe 2 years after.
Okay.
So it's been kind of floating around for a while. But these songs are all old to us already. But so we're gonna move on to the next thing probably pretty quick. But
yeah.
Well, next up we have Force Purpose, which was the lead single off of this one.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a trope, but like it's kind of a new sensation in social media. There's people that are growing up already basking in like this need to
like get validation.
Yeah. Their thoughts are like in terms of like, oh, are people gonna like this on social media, and like sharing their lives on that, and but also not just that, but just like kind of in general finding like needing to find or just like validate your purpose in life, and just you're working night and day just to like basically make money for somebody else at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A little bit of like wealth inequality thoughts going into here, and you're spending your days slaving away for somebody else at the end of the day. So just frustration with that, frustration with needing to kind of like put on a mask for like how you present yourself on social media, and just like having that chase you throughout every day.
I think it's a ripper.
It's a ripper of a song.
I don't really have much to say about it. That song I really like playing that one. It's a blast.
Yeah.
And you guys shot a really cool music video for this too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you had the concept for the most part.
Yeah, and it's funny because you'll see comments on like on Facebook like, oh, another girl in a dress music video. But
I never really thought about that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, another little bit of a trope, but I feel like there's there's only so many things you can do.
Yeah.
Without a big budget,
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of got that so thematically like there's this and it plays into the art on the album as well. There's this grandfather clock that eventually gets like unveiled. And so, speaking of just like wasting your life, like making money for like somebody else, you have that realization that you try to find or you realize like you can't turn back time, and you can't undo everything you did. So that's kind of the idea with this music video is, you know, you're going through your life with this ghost chasing you, and then you try to like stop time and like realize, you know, you can't undo any of that, and it all just goes like haywire when you try to like turn back the clock and do that, because it's just like not possible. And I don't know, that was kind of like the abstract idea with that. So you can interpret it however you like when you know, put the lyrics to the imagery, but that's kind of what was going on in my head.
I thought it was very well directed. It looked really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was my girlfriend, her brother Daniel, he's the one who shot it. He did an awesome job. I'm not sure how much music video work he's trying to do in it right now, but if you want a music video and if he's doing it, hit him up.
And he's starting a music project too. He's looking to put together a band. He also helped me pick up the grandfather clock from my first ever Facebook Marketplace purchase.
Surprisingly light.
Yeah.
Surprisingly light.
Okay, so with grandfather clocks, you have the weights that like run it.
Yeah.
So I link up with Dan and I drive us over to pick up this grandfather clock. And like luckily this purchase was like so smooth and so good. It was from this lovely old couple. And so it turns out the guy is a drummer. So he was interested in talking. Dan is holding the weights for the grandfather clock for like 20 minutes. And Dan was like, I'm so sorry, like I'm gonna go put these down. And he was just like so like quiet and like didn't want to say anything. But yeah, shout out Dan.
That would be me. That's what I would be doing.
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Dan killed it.
We shot it in this random warehouse in Wilkes-Barre, right?
Yeah. It was above like some liquidation
It was
store.
ancient. It was like from the 1800s or something. We definitely were breathing in something.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I remember when we left, I was like in my car, like, something's not right. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't
Asbestos
creep
or
up
something.
later. Yeah. It's gotta be.
Joy was the actress in it. Shout out Joy Zavada. Her dress ended up like ripping. And then we were trying to like stitch it back together with stuff. And there was also like a bunch of random costume stuff up there. So we were playing with like, they were like, yeah, if you know, this is just a bunch of crap if you want to use any of it. And it was like, there's like a Batman mask and stuff, and we were like running around.
I mean, I couldn't believe how loud it was in there too. It's crazy. I think that's something that I don't even really think about it often until we go to film a music video, and I feel like the normal person probably doesn't think about this ever. But recording a music video has some like weird logistical issues that come up.
Yeah.
So like when you're in a warehouse and you're playing a drum kit, the reverb is
a concrete box.
insane. It literally sounded like when I'd hit my snare drum, it sounded like somebody firing a cannon.
Yeah.
And it does not matter like how you can only mute so much without affecting the look. So, you know, you kind of just have to deal with it to some degree. And then you have to think about how am I going to hear, you got to play to the track so stuff lines up. You got to be able to hear the track over my cannon snare drum, which I hit a lot. It's not like I'm hitting it every...
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's like all these little tricks where you can like tape your cymbals underneath so they don't ring as much.
It's still so loud.
But yeah,
dude.
it's all still like gnarly.
Yep, because then I can't not hit them hard because then it looks like I'm not hitting them hard, and there's a lot of weird things that you run into that it's just it's kind of a nightmare, but you do what you gotta do.
Or, you know, you have the opposite problem where, you know, you're like outside and everybody's unplugged and they're pretending to play their instruments because you're not going to bring all the chords and crap out there and stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody's just doing this in silence or to like, you know, playing to, you know, the track and kind of pretending to do it. And like, that's weird and awkward too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like,
you got to be kind
what
of
do
a
you
good
do?
actor at that point,
Right,
Because
You gotta be okay with feeling awkward.
Yeah.
You gotta be
Oh, yeah.
okay with looking awkward if you want to be in a band.
you got to think too, like playing music like this is just inherently silly.
Yeah.
You know, we're all just grown men who are just yelling at each other and kind of running in circles and stuff. And it's just kind of silly. So just embrace it.
It's silly.
you know?
Yeah.
Like when people take like it's like, I don't know, some people take like the hardcore stuff so seriously. That's just so funny to me. Like,
Yeah.
this is inherently goofy. Just embrace it. It's fun. It's stupid. It's fine.
Yep. I think it's a healthy attitude. So next up we have Confidence Man.
This is very much a Brian song.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You get like the technicality of the guitar and everything. There's a cool motorcycle riff in it.
Yeah, motorcycle riff, meaning you go like this.
Yeah, you go.
Yes. Yep. That's an old metalcore thing. I remember literally being like 14 and you'd be at shows and people go like this. So stupid. But they slap. That's why you write them.
Yeah, that's a cool one. It has a very like dynamic thing to it where it's it starts out pretty technical and heavy and everything, and then the tail end of the song is very much like a post-rocky, like heavier part, a little more atmospheric.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's one of my favorite ones. And it's got a pretty good response too.
That one's kind of a nightmare for me because whatever is going on in the verse parts with the guitar is like the timing of that is just there's some stuff happening, and even like, I don't know, it's one of those ones where I'm glad right now we're not playing it live, because it's probably gonna take me like a lot of rewinding and listening and just, but yeah, it's awesome though. But
Yeah.
And next up we have Setting the River on Fire.
This is one of the ones that I wrote. And this one was like, it's kind of crazy how fast it came together, I feel like.
I feel like this song was almost written as like an afterthought, and then it kind of just bloomed.
I was very upset when I wrote this. I was not going through a good time, and just like that riff, just like it just came out of me very angrily, if that's a adjective.
Yes.
And it wasn't okay. Anyway, so I wrote that whole thing, and I'm trying to think. I'm sure, like, Brian added some flair to it, but that's something I wrote, brought in the demo, and then the lyrics are actually it's named after this book called Setting the River on Fire, which is a book about this person who had like manic depression, and the poet Robert Lowell, I believe. And I was reading through that and just kind of like, the theme in the song is kind of about like wielding manic depression and like using it creatively. I can't say I have manic depression or anything like that. I'm not like clinically treated or anything, but I definitely feel like, I have peaks and valleys, and, kind of embracing those episodes where you're in that like creative manic mindset. And there's a line in that song. It's like wielded like a blade digging into your grip. There's this term for like holding a blade, called Mordhau. And I was thinking about naming it that, but then I was like, that's pretty, and Setting the River on Fire is like such a cool title. So it was kind of like a nod to that. It's like, maybe it'll get people to check out that book, and also just like, kind of staples like how, like formative it was for that song.
You think people read?
Some people do. But yeah, I know that one's like, I definitely have an attachment to that one. I feel like it was a very much like that emotion was pouring out of me as I was like getting it all together. Yeah. I wrote it at a very hard time in my life.
That's where the best stuff comes from, right?
Yeah. It was very organic for sure. Just kind of.
Yeah, I just remember that was like a demo that you made very quickly, and I don't even think it originally wasn't even going to be on the album, if I remember correctly. I think we brought it, and then Greg said it should be.
Okay.
If I remember.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember it being at the studio because we actually we had a song
Yes.
that we were calling New Desk.
New desk.
Yes.
I bought a new desk.
Because he bought a new desk. working titles.
working titles are
anybody
great.
in a
We can get
band.
into that later.
Anybody in a band that has ever been in a band knows
You know.
working titles are
You know how it is.
they're a fun time. But we went to the studio originally with this other song that was meant to go on, and it kind of turned into this thing where we felt like the album didn't really need. It was kind of a more mid-tempo song.
Yeah.
So we were talking about like if we could add something a little bit higher energy, and
back
Travis.
to the full package thing with the album flow.
So
Right.
Travis had this kind of in his back pocket, and we ended up just kind of, almost like on the spot, just being like, all right, we're gonna do this song, and it ended up coming out pretty sick. So kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a lot. I hear that a lot when we talk about putting together albums of like stuff that like almost didn't end up on it.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of famous ones too. A lot of like the end up being their big hit or whatever, and they almost left it off the album like that, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Lucid.
This one's way more vibey. This was a Brian song. I really like this one. This is the first one where it's like lots of singing, I feel like.
Yeah, this one's super open and this is like one of the ones where if you heard it out of context, you would think we were not the kind of band that we are. But I still think it fits pretty nice. Yeah. I think this is one of the ones where, if I remember correctly, this is kind of like, I think we think of like when the Chariot does like their softer kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Or am I thinking of another one?
What's the other soft one on here?
The last song, if I remember correctly.
Spin.
Yeah. I don't know. They're both kind of touching into
Kinda,
like, some
I guess
chill
kind of,
stuff. Yeah. I think lyrically, I was thinking of like, this song makes me feel like, you know that thing in Inception where it's when you realize you're dreaming, all the people start to look at you and they like get angry and you get kicked out of the dream.
Yeah.
That feeling of like you're in this kind of like dreamy state and then you're starting to like become lucid and like realize you're not dreaming, and the thought of like the dream wanting to kick you out, like that feeling is kind of what I envisioned with like writing this lyrically and melodically, writing the vocals for that song.
Okay.
So that kind of just like I'm in this weird state of like in this dream, and then you're becoming lucid, and then hence the term lucid.
So the Matrix.
Kinda. Yeah. Yeah. The song's about the Matrix.
Just they're all everything's kind of just the Matrix anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, we're all in it, so you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wake up! Wake up!
Next up, we have One of a Kind.
This is the crazy one. It starts out with the tapping.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's
Yeah,
half
all the working
Yeah,
titles.
the working titles still override the actual titles a lot of the time in my
Yeah.
brain, especially if it's a song that we're not playing live. Because then I learn the title. I have to. It's on the set list. I have to know what it's called.
I think this is one that Eric was working on.
Yeah, Eric
He had-
predominantly wrote a lot of these parts, I
Yeah,
believe.
the intro tapping, that main riff, and then like I'm sure we jammed on it a bunch of times and kind of like came up with like, okay, we should go to this next like
Yeah.
part. That one's fun. I know that with this one, I think collectively, at least me, you, and Eric really like Maximum the Hormone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so weird, kind of a weird.
It's this Japanese band.
They're basically System of a Down from Japan.
They're so sick.
They're honestly so sick.
It's
yeah.
awesome.
They did. I'm sure everybody, like, if you're kind of a nerd, you know Death Note, the theme song for Death Note. They did that. So that's what like everybody knows them.
Dude,
for, but
I
they
haven't
honestly
thought about that in so long.
They honestly rip though.
They're so sick. So definitely check them out. But that just like chaotic energy of Maximum the Hormone. this is definitely one where it's like, all right, let's get that vibe going.
But also definitely bleeds into there's some straight up very mathcore parts in that song too. Like,
yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And I have ideas for it visually for music video stuff, and I kind of want to do one. This was one of the ones we were picking for like possibly doing a video for. Which the cool thing is, you can do videos whenever you want. If the album came out in January and it's August, you can still put out a music video for it.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, they just passed a law.
Dang it!
Just recently.
Yeah.
Crap. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of that one.
Next up, we have Tunnel Rat.
This was a skate punk
Yeah,
song
yeah,
I wrote. Yeah. I also really like that kind of like hardcore punk.
It's kind of like DBD kind of. It's got that vibe.
I love D beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, this is something I wrote. I ended up like working with Brian on it, who like Brian added a lot of flair to some parts I had written. And yeah, it's just like something I would want to skate really fast to and like hurt myself to. And like I would want other people to hurt themselves to.
Yeah.
You know.
In a good way.
Natural.
In a good way.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, like skate really fast
Skate
to
really,
it.
yeah.
And, you know, huck down some stairs and stuff. Yeah.
The days of skate videos.
Yeah. They're not over, man. They're not over.
Amen.
Yeah. We just put one out. What was it this year? I forget.
You definitely
November.
did it recently. Yeah.
The premiere was November 2025. Northeast Skate Crew. We just put out APG.
Nice.
Shout out Northeast Skate Crew. But Tunnel Rat. Lyrically, I remember watching. So, if you're not familiar with the term Tunnel Rat, in the context of this, in Vietnam, they would task American soldiers with going into tunnels with like an M1911 or something and a flashlight, and they would be tasked with like clearing out the tunnels. And the term for that was a tunnel rat. And they had like patches made for themselves and everything. And on YouTube, I don't remember what it's called, but there's an interview with this one dude who did that. And it's one of those interviews that kind of just like stuck with me because of some of the stuff he said. And this just like, I don't know, it's very like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
Weirdly enough, I am familiar with the term because there's a G.I. Joe character named after him.
Okay.
And specifically for that reason, because most people, when they think of G.I. Joe, they think of the cartoon, which was super, super cheesy, very over the top. The comic, the comic was written very differently. And that's what I remember, like, growing up, was reading the comic books. And they were written by Larry Hama, who was in Vietnam. So he based a lot of the characters around people that he served with, that he knew, and based a lot of the things that they did, like their jobs and things like that, on actual things from the military. Because the people who were writing the cartoon never served a day in their lives. They were just kind of doing it as a fantasy sort of thing of like what we imagine the Army does, like how Hollywood will do a lot of things that are like any military person will look at that and go, that's not how that works. And that person's rank is wrong and that kind of stuff. So he was like that. And so he wrote G.I. Joe very much like from like a realistic perspective, as realistic as you can be with that type of stuff. They were always trying to force him to do more weird fantasy stuff. And he would try to kind of ground it as much as he could and like kind of kill off the weirder characters that were like, yeah, the weird fantasy stuff, and like try to keep it more military and stuff. It was always interesting. But yeah, I learned a lot of weird military terms just from comics of all things. But and funny enough, that particular character was based on him in the sense I don't think that was the job that he had in Vietnam. But the appearance of the characters, when they were making the figures and stuff, he was writing all the little cards for the back of like the who the characters were, the little bios and stuff. and I think they wanted to do a tribute to him for doing all this work for it and stuff.
Yeah.
So like they based the character off of him, so it looks like him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he actually did in Vietnam,
Okay.
because that's a very specific
Yeah.
job. But yeah, it's interesting. That's the only reason I know that.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
That sounds absolutely horrific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really, like the stuff that these guys had to go through.
Yeah, there's some lines in there. The one I'm thinking of, like, and if I were the monster in the middle again, like the man in the middle, you know, if I were the monster in the middle again, I wouldn't comprehend a single fucking thing. It's like, I don't know, just like if they were put into that position again, you know, like what would they be thinking, or what would they comprehend, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that, like, hearing them reflect upon that is just like, you know, the humanity that had to have been lost during that time is wild. Yeah.
And sadly still timely, because we're still fighting useless wars that we should not be involved with.
Yes. Yep.
Next up we have Slow Exit.
This was one that Eric had written, and I worked on it a little bit with him. This one, I don't know, it's more of like a kind of digestible song, I would say. A little more like, more common structure. Very much more singing in this one. Well, not very much more. It starts out with some more singing. But it's kind of got that structure where it's like verse, chorus, you know. Yeah. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely not that we didn't write it with the intention of it being a single or anything. Obviously, we didn't release it as a single, but it is kind of like the song that if you hear the album, you're like, oh, this is probably the single, but you know, we didn't do that.
Yeah. And lyrically, it's the one line that I think of when I think of this song is like during the bridge. It's maybe I'm filling my pockets with stone just to see how far I could wander. And I think of when I would like swim in the river and stuff, we would always do this thing where we would pick up a really big rock and see how far we could walk under the river. And like we would just see how far we could get and like take turns doing that. And I think of like that as kind of an analogy where like maybe I'm just making myself suffer for so long just to see how far I can go. And so I think thematically it's kind of talking about that. It's like, I should have let it go. You know, I've been holding on to this thing for so long. Maybe I should just move on. Yeah. And it's kind of about like letting yourself suffer and like, why are you letting yourself suffer? What am I doing? That kind of like feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then we have Don't Look Down.
Very much a Brian song.
Yeah, this is probably
Brian riffage.
This is probably my favorite song on the album.
We just started playing this live.
Yeah, this honestly, it's just I love playing stuff like this. It's such a fun drum song. I'm sure it's probably fun for every instrument, but super high energy, very like. But it's like it sounds like weirdly like it's still very like melodic and kind of has a I don't want to say happy. It doesn't sound happy, but it sounds kind of like some optimism to it or something, you know. But
it doesn't sound sad.
No, but it's still very like, you know, it's driving. It's ripping.
There's a cool lead thing that happens throughout the whole thing. Like that. There's some high melody stuff that's going on throughout almost the whole song. Yeah, it's a cool song. I don't know what else. There's a cool. I feel like there's a cool dropout part that normally I don't like when songs do this, where like the song drops out and it's just like vocals going. But it kind of just felt right for this one.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some lines that kind of get delivered like pretty powerfully because of that structure. Yeah. I think it's a cool song.
All right, we got a
Saw that thumbs up, real cute.
The last couple, we got Grave Dancer is up next.
Yeah, we just added that to the live set. We played that on. When did we just play? Sunday? Saturday. We just played at the Ritz on
Ritz.
Saturday, and we just added this into the set. Yeah, I don't know. This is another really fun one. It's kind of, I feel like I'm playing drum fills for half the song, which is fun yet kind of not fun at the same time. But I don't know.
It's cool. It's like a groove, like a powerful groove.
Yeah, very driving groove going through it, which is awesome.
Yeah. And this one, like lyrically specifically, is really about like kind of like rewriting history. Like who writes history? The victors. So like what kind of history are you erasing as you as a, society are trudging over the graves of whoever was here before, and building the skyscrapers above them. And so I characterize that as the grave dancer. So like, is the grave dancer going to dance over us one day? Yeah, that's that high level view, I'd say.
And then we close off with Spin.
Yeah, I think it's a similar kind of thing. Let me help you remember the wrong way. Politely change your mind are the opening lines of that. It's really kind of talking about like propaganda, making you think a certain way, and
something that since we recorded this has become way more relevant, unfortunately. But yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about how long stuff takes to come out, whether it's a movie or an album or whatever the case is, if it hits just right and it's right at that exact moment in history where things are lining up. But I think we've been, especially since 2020, been on this downward trajectory where we've.
I was gonna say I said that, but then I thought like the past like 10 years or so has just been
right. Yeah.
Yeah, the same, but just getting worse.
Yeah, it'll turn around soon.
Yeah. No, I'm hopeful. I'm positive.
Yeah.
It's.
But I mean, musically, this is definitely a kind of an outlier for the album. Definitely more of a slower, like more melodic song. A lot more singing. Emotionally charged. Yeah.
I think you mentioned too in some of the information that you had sent me, which if you want to read more, by the way, you can go to nepascene.com right now, and there's a little press release article that you guys gave me and which helped me prepare for this, so I appreciate that. More local bands should be doing that, by the way. I don't know why they don't. But you said there's some you hope to elicit maybe some empathy and maybe some positivity through all of these kind of dark times, dark messages and things too.
Yeah. I feel like it's so easy to be apathetic and so easy to disconnect.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, if that's the device that kind of lets all the negativity in, like you have to kind of push out against that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, like I hope for compassion and I hope for like understanding when it comes to like, I don't know, you got to be like the change you want to see. I would say, like, I always think that, like, be the change you want to see in the world. I forget who the quote's from, but it's one that, like, kind of always stuck with me. So if you want more positivity in the world, like, put it out. If you want more, like, connectedness and community, like, make it happen, Yeah.
And then you released this in January through Silent Pendulum Records. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, so
I'm running to the bathroom really
quick. By all means.
So Silent Pendulum Records, so James and I are both in Sleep Sculptor. Yeah. We put out a couple records with them.
Oh, okay.
Actually it's the 3-year anniversary today of Divine Recalibration from Sleep Sculptor, our debut LP. And during that release cycle, I actually ended up connecting with Silent Pendulum, and I actually started working on their website.
Oh, okay.
So I helped rebuild their web store, and then I kind of just like ended up on the team as like managing, the new store and things like that. So I got to know them pretty well, and they got familiar with Toothless, and they were totally down to do the album. So yeah, with Silent Pendulum, we finally got to put a Toothless record on vinyl. We did 4 different variants, so 3 of them are exclusive through Silent Pendulum. So they did the Wax Mages, which always sell out in like 10 minutes. It's crazy. So there are 25 of those. There were 2 different handmade variants where they made 50 each. There's still a few of those left on the website. And then we have our artist exclusive one. So we got 100 of these for us to, sell at shows. And we actually dropped a few off at Musical NRJ in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah. Super cool store.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been cool. So we, through that, like we've linked up with some cool bands. We recently went on a run with Boar. We did a weekender with them.
Yeah.
Boar is super sick. They're a band like in the similar like niche vein as us.
Oh, okay.
So it was super cool to link up with them, and we did like 3 or 4 days together. And yeah.
Let's take a look at this vinyl, because you were kind enough to bring a copy here.
Yeah.
So, which variant is this?
So this is the artist exclusive swirl that we have. So there's 100 copies of these ones made.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, super
I'll
stoked with these.
Let you show it on your camera. Might see a little bit better there.
Yeah, this is I got really familiar with all the different variants and materials and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the natural PVC with black swirl. And just speaking of the space theme, we did a black hole on one side and then inverted it to be a white hole on the other side.
Nice.
So there's that. That's the actual vinyl itself. The art, this was made by Taylor Bates. So he's in the band Steak Sauce Mustache. He's actually in quite a few bands.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, for sure. So this art was by him. There's an insert in here where it's got all the credits, and I hand wrote the lyrics with a pen that James gave me.
Okay.
So James actually, for a while, he was restoring antique pens. And I thought it'd be cool if I like wrote the lyrics with a pen that James had restored.
Yeah.
So there's that. And yeah, all the tracks on the back. Art.
I will put the art up on the screen so that people can kind of get a nice close look at that. Thank you for having an actual artist. These days, everybody's taking the cheap way out and using AI for a lot of this stuff. And
Taylor's great. Yeah, he actually did. He did a new merch design for us too, which is really sick. Gonna be putting those on the web store soon, actually, with what's left over from the Ritz on Saturday. So
cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Ritz, so other than your the Weekender show with shows with Boar, which you said went well.
Yeah, very cool.
You also played 2 shows at the Ritz Theater. One was at the Dungeon at Goblin Alchemy, which is on the first floor of the Ritz building. And then you played the main theater opening for Traverse the Abyss this past weekend. So, how were those shows? And talk about a contrast in terms of venues. And in one building, to have such a small, tight little space with the Dungeon, and then have the big-ass theater with
They're both very cool in very different ways. Like, obviously, playing on the main stage is awesome because, you got all that space, feels like a big production, the lights are crazy, but I mean, I'm a sucker for just a little cramped room with a bunch of people trying to kill each other. It's like, that's always the vibe.
Yeah, they're both so sick in their own way. mean, yeah, the dungeon was sick. It's if you're into D&D, I'm kind of into D&D. I haven't played in a long time, but I DM'd a little bit and played a few campaigns. They host D&D there, and they have like wine and stuff. And they were super nice. The space was super cool. Yeah, very much that like hardcore small room kind of scene.
Yeah, our friend Lou from Binghamton booked that one. He's been working really hard trying to kind of support the hardcore scene between like here in Binghamton. He's doing a lot of really cool stuff.
Shout out Lou.
Yeah, shout out Lou. Yeah, and then the main stage show was kind of the opposite. Not really the opposite, but you know what I mean. Definitely much more
More space.
yeah, a lot more space, a lot less crowd killing.
Yeah, it's always so sick playing the main theater. Shout out Josh. Green room is like so nice just to have space to hang out.
Yeah.
There's like food and drinks. And whoever was doing the lights killed it. Like I love when people know the
Dan.
music.
I think that was Dan.
Was it
I
Dan?
believe it was
Probably
Dan.
Dan.
Yeah. And just like having a good light show is like such a like it elevates it so much. So that was super cool. We sold a ton of merch. Like it was a great show. There were a ton of people there. So that was to support Traverse, who is going to Japan for the first time. So they have a few shows in Japan, and I'm so stoked for them. I want to go to Japan so bad.
That's always been a bucket list thing is
Yeah.
to play in Japan, and like there's like a couple of other random spots, but Japan's definitely one of them.
Yeah, dude. I'm so stoked for them. That's so cool.
I've been trying to make it happen because, you know, you can never truly escape Scranton no matter where you go. My cousin Brendan actually lives in Japan.
Oh,
He has for the past quite a few years now. He teaches English to young kids. But he's also an artist outside of that. So he kind of gets to have the best of both worlds where, you know, okay, I'll do the day job and kind of learn the culture and the people and that sort of thing. And then at night, he's kind of able to go into the city and be an artist and be weird and do cool stuff and meet other people like that or whatever. And it's obviously pretty rare that any kind of American bands are going through that area. And it just so happens that one of Traverse's stops is like really close to where he lives.
That's
so
awesome.
try to make sure that they meet up at some point so
Yeah.
that maybe he can like take them a couple places or
Yeah,
like, show
yeah.
them around a little
Yeah.
bit or something like that. You know,
that's so cool.
But yeah, you can never truly escape Scranton, even if you go all the way to Japan. We will
That's so
find a
funny.
way to come for you. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
NEPA is everywhere.
It really is. So Travis, we did an article on Toothless back in 2020 to talk about the misinformed EP. And when I went back to read it again, kind of refresh my memory for this, the pictures I used were from that I took at NEPA Metal Meltdown. Do you remember those shows?
Yeah.
So that was an annual metal festival for a few years back. It was at when I was at the Weekender was the first few, and then the very beginning of NEPA Scene was the last couple that they did there. Those were really well put together shows, and it made me think about kind of the local metal scene then and now, and what's changed and what stayed the same, and that sort of thing. So I guess the broader question is, what's your take on all that? Where are things now versus then? Is the metal scene still strong? Is there still a lot of good stuff going on? Is it maybe not as many venues as there should be for this type of stuff? Like, what's kind of the state of metal? As you said, being kind of a niche thing.
Yeah. Well, I think definitely the venue note.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really tough for anybody to stay open if they're not like, slinging drinks and selling food and everything like that. So there were there were a few spots that kind of popped in and fell out within that time span.
Yep.
So I know that's something that's pretty tough. So
I think that's a huge part of why, because to me it feels like everything is, it feels like there's just way less of everything, especially in our area anymore. Like of people trying to do music, especially anything like on the heavier side. And I think that's a big part of it is we don't have nearly as many places. I mean, in Wilkes-Barre, dude, we have like, thank God sometimes they have shows at the Curry Donuts parking lot, because other than that, there's basically nothing anymore. Carl Hall's gone. I mean, like everything else has been, you know, priced out by, I'm assuming, shitty landlords and all that and ordinances and whatever. But that's a big problem, because I mean, I remember when I was coming up, like when I was a kid doing like my first bands, you know, there were local shows, all ages shows. That's a big thing too. Like there were all ages shows that I could go to, you know, when I was 15 or whatever. You know, all your friends would go. You'd check out bands you've never seen. It didn't matter who was playing. You'd go hang out at the show. And that made me want to, you know, that made so many people like start bands. And now it's like we don't have like an all ages venue, man. That's a unicorn right now, you know, to try to really get that going. So outside of the little DIY stuff, we don't really have, there's not really anybody trying super hard to support that kind of thing, which, like I said, shout out Lou from Binghamton, because he's definitely trying to do the all ages thing and make that really a really welcoming space, which is awesome. But we need more of that, 100%.
I do want to say, like, since I started getting involved in like the skate scene recently around here, I've met up with and I've become a lot more aware of like the kind of hardcore scene. So I feel like the hardcore scene and the metal scene kind of like coexist in this space that never really merges. Which is,
that's another thing. The strange kind of, I don't want to say clickiness, because I don't think it's necessarily intentional.
Yeah, no.
But there is some kind of invisible wall between the hardcore scene and everything else.
Yeah.
Like I don't see a lot of those. I feel like you go to a hardcore show, there's, you know, a bunch of kids, which is awesome. But then those same kids aren't going to see, like,
it's kind of a different world.
Stuff. Yeah. Which is, you know, obviously you don't have to like everything, but I recommend get out of your comfort zone a little bit, see what else is out there, because there are good bands that are, you know, that deserve your attention. So I don't know.
But it is cool to see, like, I think with the younger kids and stuff, I see a lot more like younger people in like the hardcore scene rather than like the metal scene.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I think it has to do with that kind of all ages
that's a big thing.
Like there's like a venue here or there in like Kingston, and where like you'll see a lot more all ages stuff going on.
They do a lot of stuff at like Doug's Boardroom and things like that, which is cool, which is great. But like you said, it can be a little clicky. Even for me as media, it's a little bit, you know, there's certain people who are kind of like, well, you do this, so that's not really this. Or you went and covered that, but you should have covered this show that we were doing. So now we just don't like you.
Yeah.
You know, and they've just kind of decided that. Like, it's very strange. And, you know, two is you get, you know, like, I'm old enough to be some of these kids' dads. So, you know, it's awkward for me to sometimes go to these shows where all these kids are like, you know, in their teens and early 20s, and I'm like kind of standing there in the corner doing the, you know, the arms crossed thing or whatever, you know, trying to record or, you know, take pictures and stuff like that. And they're like, who let this guy's dad in? Like, what is this guy doing here? You know, like that sort of thing. You know, that can put up some barriers too. You know,
I think every local scene, I'm sure it's not just ours, but every local scene would benefit a lot from people just kind of dropping the cool guy attitude. Like,
right.
You're all like, everybody would benefit from more, you know, cooperation. Like everybody promoting each other and
more mixed bill shows.
Exactly.
You know,
and I mean, like that. I love mixed bill shows, man. Like I would, like,
so much cooler,
especially unless it's like I'm paying to go see some kind of tour package or something. If I'm going to a local show, I don't want to see 6 bands in a row that sound exactly the same. I want to see, you know, 6 different kind of unique things. It doesn't have to be crazy, but like it's just, you know, people shouldn't be afraid to slap certain bands together, because like, you know, usually everybody I talk to too, like people like that vibe. It's a lot more.
Yes.
I don't know.
I've heard from more people when it comes to any kind of stuff, whether it's music or comedy show or poetry readings or any of that kind of stuff, the people who wouldn't normally go to those things, who end up showing up at them because a friend brought them or something like that, 99% of the time you always hear, I didn't think I would like that, but I really did. I really enjoyed that. I got something out of it. And I think more people need to kind of take that risk and kind of push themselves a little bit more. It's, I've said for a long time that the scene doesn't need necessarily more bands or more artists. It needs more fans.
Yep, for sure.
You need people who actually really care and love music and art, and they want to see it continue and they want to support it.
I think that really ties, like I said, right back into, which means we need people in places that facilitate that happening.
Right.
I actually think, I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but I think there are some people who could be doing a lot more to bring back to this area, who I feel like, definitely could if they wanted to, and just don't. And it's like, I'm not saying anybody has an obligation to do that, but there's a lot of potential that, if somebody would just, I think Josh at the Wrist is a great example of somebody who's like doing something great. Like he's really trying to give people a place to really start to do stuff, which is awesome. I just wish we had more of that for sure.
And when I'm able to catch his ear for a few minutes here and there and talk to him because he's a busy guy, but,
of course,
you learn very quickly how difficult it is to really put these things together and how expensive it really is. Yeah. And all of the behind the scenes logistics that the average person doesn't get. So they think very easily like, well, you just put on a new show every day and you'll just make lots of money, and that's just how it works. And it's like, you have no clue. You have no idea. And the bigger thing, and I think he mentioned this on social media one day, which I think is a whole other discussion for a whole other podcast, is that certain big companies who own all of the major venues and are buying them all up one by one and either closing them so that they don't have to deal with that competition anymore, or taking it over and kind of squeezing the life out of it and turning it into something that it's not, or that it wasn't previously. Though you're in competition with those all the time when you're trying to do it yourself and you're running your own thing. So they're going to figure out ways to squeeze you out of that. And I mean, hell, literally that's being fought in the courts right now. And they're still denying that stuff, and they're still trying to double and triple down and go, no, we're not a monopoly, and we don't do we don't do those practices that they're accusing us of. But it's like there's so countless stories from the smallest band you've never heard of to the biggest names that are touring the world right now. It's very obvious that kind of stuff happens all the time, and it's not even just them. There's other big companies that are doing this kind of stuff too. So, but you guys have been a band for over a decade now at this point, which is crazy. Yeah, crazy. So. I'm sure to think about, right? What have you maybe learned in that time, or taken away from the past decade or so as a band?
I feel like one of the things we talk about is how you'll see how a lot of times there's bands that share members, or like somebody in multiple projects, which is kind of what has happened, with us, with the few different bands. But I think we've been talking about how like that kind of just naturally happens, where the people that are like actually in it end up kind of like staying in through that filter of time, where it's like, okay, we're in it, we're gonna be working on like making it a thing and like really pursuing it. So I feel like we see a lot of that kind of like cross. That's
kind of been my mentality for a long time, because I mean, all I've ever wanted to do all I've literally ever wanted to do my entire life is play music. So if I could sustain myself by doing that, like obviously that'd be amazing. That's the goal, right?
Sure.
So I kind of always had that mentality where I'm like, all right, if I just keep doing it, if I just if one band falls apart, I go join another band, I go start another band, whatever. Like eventually I'm only going to be around other people who think like me, who are like, okay, we're here to do, like, that's all we want to do is do that. And it kind of like feel like it's like a funnel. Like eventually the only people that you have left are the people that you can trust to do it, which is, it's funny like how he said. So, but then what ends up happening is you end up playing drums in 3 bands that are all trying to be serious. And then, you know, your brain is fried 24/7, but you know, that's fine. Like I said, it's all for the love of the game, right? I'm just trying to, my mentality is like, if I put everything into every single project I do, eventually I will be able to live doing this. And that's been my goal with that. But yeah.
And I'm sure you probably have some kind of creative drive in you that makes you want to keep doing this kind of stuff too. You know? Because if you don't really have that, it's not like, oh yeah, this is a great business decision.
Obviously not. No. I'm literally, when most musicians have no money. It's not, you know.
Right.
And then the things I try to do, like, I mean, I teach drums, like I'm trying to even make my income, like if, you know, I'm trying to just do anything I can with music and survive in a fucked capitalist society at the same time. So do what you gotta do.
Damn sure.
Do what you gotta do.
Right, exactly. And you know, and as we've, you know, mentioned a couple of times, you guys are also in Sleep Sculptor. So can you tell us a little bit about that band?
Yeah, Travis and I are in Sleep Sculptor. I play drums in that. He plays bass in that. We released our second album 3 years ago. I think it was yesterday, the day before was actually like the 3-year anniversary, which we toured on that a little bit, and then kind of hit a snag. Sleep Sculptor has a very bumpy past, I guess. It feels like every time we get some kind of Toothless too, actually. I think we're just cursed, but like when it feels like you get the ball rolling and then somebody's just there to punch you right in the face, and you're like, all right, I guess we're gonna chill for a little bit and then try to restart everything. It feels like Sleep Sculptors hit that point like 3 or 4 different times where the band almost had to do a total reset and kind of, you know, via member changes or COVID or like whatever is going on. So after we released the last album, we went through a bit of that, and then but luckily everything's kind of back on track, and we have some studio time booked in the near future for a follow-up album, which there's a lot of material being worked on like right now for, which is awesome. But it's tricky. That band's tricky because we are a little bit more, luckily, like Toothless and Scorched Mind, we're all right here, basically. We're all around Wilkes-Barre to some degree, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, whatever. Yeah. And, but Sleep Sculptor, our guitarist lives down by Harrisburg, and then our vocalist lives by Calgary in Canada. It's literally like the other side of the continent. Yeah. So we do a lot of back and forth internet stuff, and then luckily he has like a setup at home. He's a professional vocalist. He's a teacher and everything, so he has a setup to record at his house and everything. So we just do a lot of back and forth. So it's kind of like an internet band until we have to tour, and then he flies out.
Ideally, it's like, all right, we got 2 weeks booked. Let's get together and tour.
Yeah. Yep.
So a very different dynamic from that to Toothless.
Yeah,
really.
For sure.
And being in these different bands, do they kind of maybe scratch different creative itches for you personally, or how does that work?
I mean, well, he gets to play 2 different instruments.
Right.
I wanted to do that, but I don't get to do what I want.
Because they always need a drummer.
You're a drummer. You're on
right.
drummer duty for the rest of your life.
There's a reason that that's the running joke, is that every drummer you know is in 10 bands, because there's like 4 of us. I don't know. It's just, I get it. Like, as somebody, like I am also like a drum teacher, I understand a lot of people, parents especially, don't necessarily love the idea of loud acoustic instruments like that. Thank God for
it's not
e-kits.
as accessible as like getting your guitar.
It is getting better. I think a lot of parents are kind of more open to the e-kit idea, which is nice. But it's just, drums are, you know, really expensive, really loud, and then like the skill, I want to say like the skill floor to get to a band level is relatively high, I guess. Like you have to put a decent amount of effort to be able to play, like physically to be able to play out for extended periods of time. And, you know, so I think there's just not many drummers comparatively because of that. But I just got totally sidetracked. What the heck was I on? Oh, yeah. So originally I was supposed to play bass in Sleep Sculptor. Which I did for our first couple shows. We had a friend fill in on drums, and then we couldn't find a drummer that could play it. So eventually we tried out a couple people, and after the one tryout, the guy walked out, and I literally looked at the rest of the guys and was like, I'll do it, whatever. Like, I'll resign myself to doing it, which obviously I don't mind. It is my favorite thing to do by far. It's just, you know, I was kind of, at that point, I was looking for a little bit of a change up. And then Scorched was Mike, the guitarist, approached me about playing drums for a project. And that for me is very much so a different creative itch, where that one is like, I don't have to think about goofy time signatures and rhythms a lot. I could just kind of smash. And I was like, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to be in a band where I just kind of caveman a little bit. So that's where that comes from.
Yeah, definitely different like creative feelings throughout each band. Like I not so much for like this upcoming stuff with Sleep Sculptor, but like I did get to write a pretty decent amount, and it's just like, you know, the different tuning and vibe. It's I know in my head if something's gonna be like a Sleep Sculptor song or like a Toothless song.
Okay.
And then yeah, there's like another project that I got to do some vocals for, which isn't like formally announced or anything like that, but I'm super stoked on it. So hopefully that's going to be like announced in the near future. But that's like, that had some more like singing and melodic stuff going on. So that was really cool to like get to write for that. So yeah, like every different band I feel like has a different kind of like creative like energy and vibe that, you know, when you're working on that, it's very much like centered around the feelings of that band. So yeah, definitely like different outlets, I'd say.
I've been really trying to find, I want to play something not heavy very badly.
Yeah. But, dude, we talk like about doing jazz like stuff once in a while.
Okay.
Because like I still play trumpet, you know.
Yeah, and Brian and I listen to a lot of jazz. I know
I listen to a ton of jazz.
So like that's kind of always been floating around where I want to do some kind of project that's very much the opposite of everything else I do.
It's just a matter of people like writing some demos and being like, yo, let's get together and play these.
Also, finding the rest of the people, I think, is going to be tricky because I don't think our area is really known for.
I don't see it being like live, you know, like.
See, but that's
we got a lot of older guys that are that'll play jazz.
Yeah, but I want to get more, you know, young guy jazz. You know.
I'm on Friday. I know Elephants Dancing and The Tribe are playing at the Kirby.
Yeah.
I love The Tribe. They're sick.
Oh, they're so good.
Shout out Jordan. But yeah, like funky, like it's not just into metal, of course, into all types of music, and I love that like jazz and funk, and like there's a lot of cool like musicality and stuff that you can't really get in metal.
Yeah.
So it's nice and refreshing to listen to some other stuff.
Yep, I listen to mostly not heavy stuff at this point, but I still obviously I still do, but.
Yeah, I go in phases. It's like I'll have the Skyrim soundtrack on for like 2 weeks straight, and then I'll like put on Johnny Booth and be like, "Fuck yeah, this is sick." Yeah.
Shall we get into the comments?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, we got
Are there
some good
comments?
stuff.
Oh, do we have
There are some comments.
Do we have some goofballs?
Are there
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go from calm to what I consider the best?
Let's do
We
this
just go in order if you want.
in order. Okay, I guess that's fair.
Well, I guess it started out crazy and then got normal.
Okay, that's fine. We can do whatever.
Yeah, we got a Nick Bonk.
Oh. All right.
James, can I hear your best goat sound?
Yeah.
In Espanol.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah,
There's a bunch of different ghost
It's pretty
sounds.
good.
We waited like 2 hours for this, and I'm not disappointed.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Enséñame tu mejor sonido de cabra. That's how you say it in Spanish, if anybody's wondering. Show me your best goat sound. Anyway.
Me gusta.
Oh man, high school Spanish didn't prepare me for that. So
That's one of the only phrases I know. We're not gonna get into it.
Yeah, we learned some French ones too from Flo and Slisco too.
Yeah.
all right, we got John Shackleton.
Okay.
John.
It makes sense why the first ones are goofy.
Yeah.
Yo guys, have you heard about these things called horses?
Horses?
Horses.
Can you pull one up, maybe?
And then Aaron
Pull up a
Davis,
horse.
y'all ever heard of horses?
I think I need to see a picture.
Yeah.
Where you see they got these.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check it out later.
Big.
Yeah, put one up on the. Can we pull one up? Jamie, you heard of these things called horses?
Yeah, that's what I feel like with being in bands, it's like
Yeah, you get these
you
weird
get
running.
a bit,
Yeah.
and it just goes.
Yeah, you get a running gag and it just never goes away.
It's not a running gag; it's a full sprint
Yeah.
gag.
Yeah,
It's a marathon gag.
there was basically I used to work.
Was that a horse?
No, the horse!
Oh yeah, is it a good one?
Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah,
I missed
I
it.
don't know what kind of horse it is, but it's a
That's a
horse.
good
Wow.
one. Good
It's
job.
a solid horse.
Nice
right?
horse.
Yeah, we did a weekender with Disruptor, and that was the bit for the whole weekend.
Well,
so like
there's-
they'd be playing a show.
This bit has lore.
Yeah, there's
This
lore.
bit has lore. I worked at a job for a long time where I was in charge of other people, and I was bored a lot of the time. So I would kind of just come up with these things to like just that's my sense of humor.
I
I'm
really like this
How
bit.
confused can I make someone basically? So I would get like literally people would be like their first second day on the job, and I would like they'd come over and I'd be like, yo, you ever heard of horses? And they're like, what? Like the animal? And I'd be like, hold on. And I would pull it up I would just Google horse and I would go through images and I would just be like, check this one out. Yeah. So that just it never died. And now that happens to other bands and Disruptor, we have this thing where like
This evolved through the whole weekend. It blossomed.
it started off with like pull up the pictures and kind of try to like show the other band while they were playing and see if we can get them to like laugh like while they were playing. So you're just like in the corner like just like showing a horse. And then
That was night one.
Yeah.
Then the second night, we're really going for it. Was showing each other pictures. I'm singing. John pulls up a picture. I'm like, oh, good, he's going to show me a picture of a horse. I know what's going to happen. Except it's not a horse. It's a really bad drawing of a horse. So I lose it. That was day 2. And then
John made a
Day 3.
the third day we played. They had like a screen behind the stage where you could put your logo or whatever project something. John made for us.
Toothless
It was
backdrop.
our logo. It was Toothless, but behind it was just a bunch of. There was a video of just horses running around. So we literally
had
played
that
our
up for
whole
our
set.
entire set.
Yeah, our whole set. It was just horses running around the back, and it's just it's one of those.
That's like the best things about being in a band. It's those marathon bits.
See, that has progression to get so much worse.
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
Yep.
Like I've had my own story about some online gaming friends I have, and we were talking about. You ever heard of a Hear Me Out cake?
Cake.
Well, it's called a Hear Me Out cake.
Okay.
You put like people or characters that you would, I guess, hook up with.
Oh.
And it would be like some of the craziest things. My friend said Spirit, the stallion.
The horse?
The horse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Not just the running. So we play a game called Rust,
Oh.
and then there we have horses. So it's a constant running.
Your friend might need a psychiatrist or something before that turns into a problem.
Maybe. We'll just warn you. It's
Anyway.
are we on to some of the normal ones?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got Colin Rothfuss. Love the new album, boys. Was not expecting some cleans when I kicked it on, but thought it fit really well.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Colin.
Thank
Colin's
you.
the man. He's an old friend.
He also said, restoring antique pens is the most James thing hobby I have ever heard.
Told him about
Yeah,
the pen.
that's, I don't. Oh wow, it's peeing.
Yeah, European.
Yeah. Yep.
European.
I'm American. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, it was like such a random thing.
It's so cool.
Like-
It's honestly so sick. You should tell him about.
I shouldn't.
Okay.
Nope. Sorry.
That's
We're gonna move on
NDA.
from that. Yeah, NDA. Sorry, non-disclosure agreement for that one. Let's just say there were some very notable pens that I got to work on, used by some very notable people, and I may have used them to draw penises.
That's so much better anyway.
What else are you supposed to do?
Exactly. It's like, hey, this pen was used for two things.
Do you have a favorite pen, whether antique or like
Yeah, what's your
a
favorite?
current pen?
Oh, I'm a big fan of. Oh my gosh! So there was this. I really wanted it. It was $800, so I wasn't gonna get it. But there was this one I got to work on that was Oh geez. I think the brand's called Schaefer. That was the pens I worked on the most. The brand was called Schaefer. But they had one that was like this kind of like, I don't know, it was like this like really beautiful like metallic blue with like, and everything was like gold trimmed. It was some of the ones you see you're just like but you're like
plug the Instagram. It's honestly just for like looking at them visually. Is it MJ?
no, I don't update it anymore, so
Oh,
yeah,
well,
but-
there's some cool stuff on it, but pens are freaking cool, dude. There's
Yeah,
some cool looking pens.
Yep.
As a writer, I appreciate a good pen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe the difference. Like when you have one with like a good nib,
It's hard too to find one that's good for us lefties too,
Okay.
because we smear everything that we
that
write.
makes sense.
So it's very hard to find like a good quick drying pen that doesn't do that as much, or that you can kind of hold in a comfortable way that makes sense. So because we're weird.
Yeah, I get it. It's just sometimes like it's it's metal, but it literally feels like you're using a paintbrush. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I didn't know you would left-handed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
now you know.
You're dark sided.
Lefty gang. I'm not lefty.
Oh, you're a poser, dude. Stolen valor.
No, I'm just shout out lefty gang. Stolen valor.
Stolen
Yeah,
valor.
the nuns couldn't beat it out of me.
Yep.
Oh.
That's the sentence.
I like the Sharpie S gel. Not sponsored, but you could. Because the internet told me they slide like Christy Yamaguchi.
Oh. I like how they smell.
Yeah, I just like sniffing Sharpies.
I like how Sharpies smell.
The pens don't get as much smell, but we do like the market. Alright. We got Daniel Blake. The breakdown of the album is sick. You guys kicked ass Saturday. Love you guys.
Thanks,
Hell
Dan.
yeah. Thanks, Dan. We love you too. Is it this? Yeah, there you go.
And Aaron Woodhouse just said, "Thank goodness he's still restoring pens," but you said you're not. Right?
It's a reduced capacity.
Oh, reduced.
Yeah, I still do it off and on, but it is no longer. I ever since I like really tried to lean into teaching drums over the past like 3 years. So I'm trying to.
Yeah,
Most of my focus is on that because I love it. It's awesome.
it's so cool.
Oh, we're getting a whole bunch coming in. Look at that. I'm just
That's sick.
Kai Betts. I've been living in Tucson for the last 5 years, and you are kind of making me miss NEPA.
Dude, NEPA is sick. I will say that.
It's got some things going for it.
I will share this moment I had where I was whitewater rafting, and it was like the break of fall, so like all the leaves were changing, and we rounded this corner on the river, and the whole mountainside was like golden.
Dude,
It was like golden and like
I will-
little bits of green.
I will say, especially once we
It was like a spiritual moment.
When we went out and like we did that, like the Sleep Sculptor did like half the country or whatever. When we came back, it really hammers home like this area is
Beautiful.
naturally gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like we live in one of the most beautiful places I've ever
Truly.
seen. And it really like when you leave and come back, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I get why people come here.
You're like
for, like,
greeted
autumn and
by the
stuff.
embrace
Yeah.
of the mountains
Yeah.
when you come back.
The Poconos.
Yeah,
and that kind
it's
of
insane.
Stuff, yeah.
It's insane.
It's
Some of the
so
views,
nice.
like even just when I'm driving on 81, like up to Montage, and I just look, I'm like, look,
Yeah.
you can see for like 100 miles. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they are trying desperately to get rid of it all with data centers.
And put a bunch of warehouses and data centers.
yeah,
just
it's
talking about
it's
this,
insane.
Yep.
Oh man.
Dystopian even.
Make your voice heard if you don't want it.
Right? Yeah.
Does anybody
please.
have any questions about how generative AI is a fascist tool to make us all stupid?
My semi uneducated opinion is, I'll say that I'm not an expert, of course, but I feel like it's just this bubble that people are investing so much money into.
Yes.
Well, it's definitely
And
a bubble, but I really think it's purposefully being used as a tool to further make people absolutely unable to think on their own to any degree.
Yep.
Especially, dude, kids that are growing up with this. Like, you see those memes that are like what the hell? I just saw on Reddit the other day, and you wonder if some of these posts are like real, but like somebody commented, so it was like a Twitter thread or something, and somebody was saying how they were like, while writing a prompt for ChatGPT, I somehow found the answer I was looking for before I even hit the button to submit. And somebody was like, "Congratulations, you discovered thinking." Like,
I was just talking to my AI girlfriend,
yeah.
and she says it's really bad.
Anyway,
Somebody asked too earlier, where is Sleep Sculptor? So you guys mentioned you do have, you're working on new materials.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
so that answers that. But
Yeah, we got some time booked.
yep.
they're out there.
Yeah, Sleep Sculptor is alive. I know it seems like we keep dying, but we're
Yeah.
gonna keep coming back.
Yeah, if you're a talent agency or a booking agency who wants to help us book tours, that's
Yeah,
like
we are.
the one
Yep.
thing that is always like a unicorn apparently in this world.
Dude, somebody who can effectively book like runs, it just doesn't exist to a large
We're
degree.
ready.
It's insane.
We're ready
It probably
to
has a
play
lot.
tours.
It probably has a lot to do with that Live Nation bullshit and all that, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. And yeah, Aaron, we did go through the album before, but as soon as this is over, it'll just turn into a regular video, and you can give it a watch. Especially on our YouTube channel, because for whatever reasons, Facebook started this new thing where after a live stream is up for a month, they delete it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so all our past live streams literally just got eliminated overnight one
Got
day.
zucked.
That's
Yeah, they just so thankfully I had most of them backed up to YouTube, but not all of them. So there's definitely some stuff that got lost in the process. But
And don't
It is
forget to
what it is.
smash that like button. Smash that like button. Hit that bell.
Smash! This video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Or Raycon or whatever, or I don't know.
William McHale says it sucks that the name AI is already taken for when they do invent our actual intelligence.
Shout out Will.
So true.
Shout out Rosary Guild.
Awesome band. We should have them on sometime, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
They're
What are you guys up to?
legitimately probably my favorite local band.
They're so good.
I've done
man.
I've done like projection stuff for them, like while they played, like changed the videos and like stuff. They're so sick. They're so good.
I like Breaking Benjamin.
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
You guys have some shows coming up too, or we should promote those.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll put some information up on the screen for you there. But we have Poppy's Tavern in Hatfield on Saturday, May 23rd with Duress and Amberia.
Yep.
We have Barbed Wire Fest at Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia. Is Mr. Bonk, who's in the comments, is that your bar?
No, I mean he should go claim it though.
I definitely should. Yeah, I'm Mr. Bonk.
Yeah,
I own this now.
you guys answer to me now.
It's in Philadelphia with 6 other bands, so that should be
It's
quite
it's like a
there's-
wrestling.
Yeah, there's gonna be wrestling
fest or
too,
something.
and street vendors like
Oh, wow.
street food and all that stuff.
So that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's Sunday, May 31st. And then locally, we have at the V Spot in Scranton on Friday, June 26th with No Fight, No Victory, Bedroom Floor, and When Hell Ascends Tonight.
Yep.
So if you haven't caught these guys locally yet, or you haven't seen them in a while, you want to see them again, or maybe you just saw them at the Ritz, you want to see them a little, maybe more up close.
A little more intimately.
Yeah,
We'll sweat
yeah,
right on you.
absolutely.
It's a
Share some
4D experience. Yeah.
But yeah, anything you want to mention about those, or anything else before we wrap up here?
I mean, we'll have our vinyl and
Yep.
CDs.
Yep, we'll have the new merch.
Yeah, we got this artist exclusive. Only 100 of these made, so get them while you can, I guess. And
Yeah, we're playing new songs. We're playing a good chunk of stuff from the new record. So if you haven't seen us in like 2 or 3 months, we're playing basically an entire new set at this
Yeah.
point. So
yes,
yeah,
and it feels so good.
yep.
Feels good to play those tunes.
We should mention too, because I mentioned this in the description earlier. I almost didn't recognize you without the long hair.
Yeah. So I go through this cycle of maybe like every 3 or 4 years. I'll just grow my hair out, and then I donate it to a place called Wigs for Kids. So I found them. Initially, I was looking at other places that do the donations and stuff. But the difference is Wigs for Kids, they don't make the families pay for the hair systems, the hair replacements. So they are accepting donations if you want to donate your hair or your dosh.
Has to be a minimum 12 inches.
I think they look for 18 now.
Really?
Yeah.
I've done this twice too. In the
Yeah.
last,
Cool.
I think, or it might have been 14. The last, I don't remember, but I've
Their
also
website has like all that info for if you're looking to donate. A lot of like salons in the area, they know and they
Yeah.
collect donations and they help like ship them out and everything.
Yep.
But if you are a long-haired person who's looking to
Not
cut
me.
and donate, if you're looking
Definitely not me.
looking for a change, check out Wigs for Kids.
Yeah.
We actually did some like collab stuff on Instagram recently, so they were super cool. We were doing riffs for wigs, and they were awesome. Whoever's doing their social media, you rock. That was a lot of fun, so thank you. But yeah, check them out.
Cool. Well, I think that's about all. And so thank you guys so much for being on. Anything you want to mention before we get out of here?
If you want to check out any of our stuff, just go to toothless.band. That's our website.
Yep.
So we've got links out to everything. We've got our merch store online, so we've got some CDs and stuff like that. But yeah, follow us if you're, looking to keep track of what we got going on. And yeah, thank you, Rich. Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you so much.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for doing it. Long overdue, I think.
Yeah.
You guys have been around a long time. So Past Futures, the debut full-length album from Toothless, is available now on all major streaming platforms, as well as CD and vinyl. Thank you for putting it on CD, by the way, too, because I'm still a CD guy. And Toothless will perform at Poppy's Tavern in Hatfield on Saturday, May 23rd with Duress and Amberia. Barbed Wire Fest at Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia with 6 other bands on Sunday, May 31st. And the V-Spot in Scranton on Friday, June 26th with No Fight, No Victory, Bedroom Floor, and When Hell Ascends Tonight. So thanks again for everybody who tuned in. We appreciate your comments. It makes it much more fun. Make sure that you do all the good algorithm things, like, comment, share, to make sure that we reach more and more people with this. Obviously, we're always fighting the algorithm, especially with all the negativity and things out there, as we talked about earlier. So if you want to see some more positivity in your feed, and if you're a local artist and you want to be on the show and stuff like that too, it helps when you support other local artists doing it as well. It's one hand shakes the other, all that good stuff. So thanks again for tuning in. Obviously, if you made it this far, you enjoyed it. So do all those things, like, comment, share, whatever. And we will see you next Wednesday for another NEPA Scene Podcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.